Hey guys, John Mark here, the Tactical Plumber on Instagram. And if you saw my video back in 2019, I posted a video about Milwaukee's ultimate job site backpack. I had their original backpack, then I had their ultimate job site backpack, and in 2019 I was moving into their Packout backpack, which is this guy. After I put that video out, a bunch of guys were like, review the Packout bag, but I don't like reviewing things I haven't used. I think it's kind of stupid. So now I've used it and I have some things to say. I'm actually setting up my buddy's Packout bag right now as well. So that should give you an idea of how I feel about this bag. This is my bag. I want to run through it real quick. Very similar to how I had it set up in 2019 with some key differences. First thing I want to talk about is these quick attach points. Mechanical hub, Eric on, linked the Instagram community to these, and they're amazing just because you can pull your bit. And if your backpack goes in with you like it does for me on a normal service call, if I sell work, I go in, I take my backpack the majority of the time, depending on the job at hand. This is sick because I can pull whatever I need. I can put it on my impact, I can swap bits, put this back, and I keep my nut drivers. So all my standard nut drivers there, plus a T25. Yeah, over here we got a tape measure port. This one's holding up just fine. In 2019, my tape measure one actually ripped off the bag, but that was more due to me stepping on it and less due to the bag. In the bag here we have Milwaukee's 10L, which is their 10-inch long. I do residential service, and that's like the go-to wrench. Now, a bunch of guys in the comments are going to say stuff about rigid and about buying high-quality tools. I get it. I used to run a Husky wrench with a piece of PEX as a cheater, which was essentially exactly this. But the Packout bag I moved into in 2019 was actually stolen, and I lost a bunch of my tools. I live in Southeast Portland, and I've been hit several times actually. So this time I bought Milwaukee's 10L. Great wrench, I've loved it. There are situations where that does not fit. I also carry a Husky adjustable head pipe wrench. I got this from Laura Roberts on Instagram. She swears by this tool, and I was like, oh, that's so strange. So I went out and got it, and I swear by it now too. It doesn't fit every situation. It is cheap. It is probably China, but it works surprisingly well. So before you say things about cheap tools, in residential plumbing, I don't use a hammer a crazy ton, but when I do, I don't really care what hammer it is. This is just a Husky hammer. This is the M12 Surge. I just really wanted the Surge. I had an M18 Surge back in the day that was actually also stolen. And they're so quiet. But in general, Milwaukee has done a phenomenal job with their M12s. If you're just getting in, even the lowest M12 impact driver, which is like $69 on Amazon right now, is amazing. The updates include stuff like better driving ability, and you can push your bits in, which is really nice rather than pulling it every time. The Surge is just the quiet model, basically. Sounds stupid, I know. Got a couple lost the name chisels. Obviously not a carpenter here. I really love these when I'm working in a wall in a service setting and I have like wood that's in my way, and sometimes you can get a sawzall in one spot or an oscillating tool and you can chop one section but you can't really get the other, and these allow you to break out wood in walls and really confine spaces pretty well. And I'm a sucker for anything I can beat stuff with. Got the rigid telescoping basin wrench. Slightly overrated, but that doesn't mean it isn't nice. When you get your bag stolen a couple times, and your truck broken into and full fiasco, I have an alarm system from hell now. You kind of get the opportunity to buy your tools multiple times, not really by choice. But you get to kind of see where quality matters for you and where it doesn't. I really like this wrench, but it is kind of overkill. Just a generic Empire level. Got multiple of these, need a level as a plumber. Need a bunch of them, and you're probably going to trash them and get ABS glue all over them, or primer, for those of you on another coast. Got 1/4 inch to 3/8, a 1/2 inch ratchet, just good to have. These are actually Tecton, which is like the Amazon company or whatever, but they're red and black, so they match my bag. My coordination game here is on point. Got generic 9-in-1 screwdriver. I had the roller gear, but the roller gear is like $30. This is like, I forget, like $12 or $16 or something. Basically, you could have 2 or 3 of these for every roller gear. And I don't put on a lot of plate covers and stuff like that, so the roller gear didn't work great for me. The ratchet on this I can actually hear, and it's a little bit more mechanical, which I actually seem to like, awkwardly enough. The roller gears are made really nice though. They're out of Canada, great screwdrivers. Got a little tiny Milwaukee saw here. Works great for stuff like CPVC, situations like that. Got a jab saw, getting into the drywall. These Bosch Daredevil extensions with the quick locks are amazing. I carry a 12-inch and 2 6s. I carry 2 picks. This is a pick set. I'll link to all this stuff. But I carry a 90-degree pick, I carry a straight pick. These are great for getting rust out of faucets, for getting stuff out of shower valves, for pulling O-rings off things. A nice set of picks is really, really nice. Telescoping magnet. Works amazing. These things get you out in a jam and going into people's houses, dropping things in terrible spots. These have saved me way more than once. I used to be a huge advocate for these DeWalt organizers, and I'm hardly using this one now. I got like some impact adapters, and then I have my 2 6-inch extensions in here. In general, I love these because you can like cut them apart and customize them however you want, but these are a game changer. They work really well, and way less reason to have this guy. I had a custom light you saw in my 2019 video, and it was pretty sweet, but it got stolen. And so this last time I was like, you know, I'm just gonna spring for one of Milwaukee's Rovers and check it out. This is the M18 Rover. It's got the stud clip here. It's got some high power magnets. They're probably high power. You know, high power just sounds cool. I really, really, really have liked this, even as a guy that generally like builds his own lights. It's got the articulating head. It provides a lot of light. It runs off the Milwaukee batteries. The buttons are super resilient. The magnets work good. With a 9.0, I have a bunch of 9.0s. The stud hook doesn't work very well. It would work good if you were kind of grabbing like 1x4s, but anything bigger than that is kind of rough with a 9.0. Great light though. Got tape and dope. I'm one of those guys. I also believe you dope, then you tape. Sorry, I got that backwards. I believe you tape, then you dope. There we go. Got a rigid faucet tool. These are great. Use this all the time. Moving into the bag, or moving to the front of the bag. Got my 3 Knipex Cobras. My favorite wrenches of all time. I also have 3 of these Knipex plier wrenches. I don't use all of these a ton. They probably don't have to be in the bag, but when you're doing something and you don't want to scratch it up, these can be really nice, even when it comes to like a water heater flex. So I keep them in the bag. I really like them. They don't scar anything up. Knipex just built some incredible tools. Probably in a residential setting, I don't need clear up to this 10-inch I have here, meaning hardly ever use that. But I've got, what would this be, a 6, an 8, and a 10 of these channel lock adjustable wrenches. I want to call them crescent wrenches. These are really comfortable, really smooth, and I've really loved them. I've went through a couple bags now that have been stolen, and I keep buying these. They're great. Got a set of Milwaukee wire strippers. You don't need a whole lot in residential plumbing when it comes to wire strippers, or I don't, so I mean, more than suits my needs. Also have a tin snip. There's just all kinds of random things I need to cut that are metal, and that's what I use my tin snips for. I got a bunch of different PEX cutters. I bought a Husky set this last time, and it's working fine. What I appreciate is just the metal frames. I've used a Raptor set for a really long time from Ferguson. But to me, I've got to have a metal frame. I have to have a blade that's replaceable or that can be filed, just because I cut a lot of PEX. Yeah, so in general here in the bag, the main difference between this bag and like the ultimate job site backpack, I would say, is like floor space. There's even more floor space in this bag, which is really huge to me because like I can fit a rover in there really nice. Now it's terrible because one of the most asked comments on the last video was, how much does that weigh? It weighs a lot. I'll weigh it and put it in the description, I guess. But, I mean, I love having stuff. I love taking a lot of stuff in. I love folding my bag open and having customers feel like, oh man, he's well prepared. He has all the tools he needs. That just gives people like peace of mind, and they feel like they're getting what they paid for. If you go in with like a screwdriver and a pair of blue channel locks in your back pocket, you could be way better at plumbing than me. But if the customer doesn't feel that way, you haven't really like accomplished what you set out to do. Yeah, so the floor space in this bag is huge. There's this front zipper pouch right here. I keep one of these razor blades up here. This is made by OEM Tools. It's actually from AutoZone. But what I love about this razor blade is the blade closes up in there and it's static at the front. Some of these push razor blades are like this guy, but when you start using it, they just slide in on themselves and it just doesn't work very well. Also up here we got one of these right angle attachments. This is a Milwaukee one. In the past I've had I think the DeWalt ones. Maybe I had the Milwaukee one. I haven't had like the plastic coated one. It seems to be pretty nice. It grips really good. I really like it. And it does a pretty good job at low profile. I have my Wolverine brass stop wrench I built right here. This drops right over their Finale series stops. And we use a lot of IPS stops, so this allows me to just ratchet one in place, which is really nice. Although a crescent wrench works, you just are moving it a ton. This drops right over a straight stop. Or you pull the handle off of an angle stop and you can ratchet it right on. I actually sell these. Message me. Also got a couple sockets for 1/2-inch MIPs and FIPs for Worsbo. Sometimes you get up in a super tight joist bay and you're trying to throw it onto galvanized or something like that to change a section out for PEX, and there's just no room. Work really nice for that. I also carry a couple hose caps in my bag. We go do a lot of like tank style water heaters, stuff like that. And when you get the water heater out, it's nice to just be able to thread caps on, so if customers open faucets or anything, it doesn't dump water on you. So I always carry a couple caps. Moving off to the front of the bag, I haven't utilized the front a whole lot on this bag. I got a couple of these Makita socket sets. They're pretty nice. Got some more of these Tecton Allen keys. Tecton just sells on Amazon. I really like these Allen keys. I think they've worked really good. I've bought these a couple times now as well. And this whole set with the round round heads. Has been great for service. Once again, this is, I got some comments about cheap tools on my last video. This is one of those areas where you could buy a really expensive set of Allen keys, but it really comes down to what you do when it comes to plumbing. This is just my loadout. This is just what I carry. Some people don't have a back good enough to carry this. It's a lot of weight. You want a lighter bag. Some guys have watched this whole video and maybe they would use like a quarter of these tools for what they do. I'm not saying this is the answer for everybody. This is just what I carry. Voltage detector. Man, I could rant about voltage detectors. Really nice. The Milwaukee one has a flashlight, which is nice because you just know that it's on. Checking water heaters before you mess with them. Checking anything before you mess with it. I'm a plumber, not an electrician. So, voltage detectors are my friend. Also carry these Bosch Daredevil paddle bits. As far as I'm concerned, this is like the go-to set. I've got a 12-inch extension, I got two 6-inch extensions. I can put any one of these paddle bits a full 24 inches away from my drill. In a service setting, that just about takes care of me. I also have Milwaukee switchblades. I think that's what they're called. The big old ones for drains. And Diablo's hole saw kit, which is pretty sick. But like the other day, I was chasing some crimp pecs that had been buried down in a sill plate, and one of the crimp rings had given out, and it was just pouring up out of this sill plate, and went in there and just drilled holes all the way around it, chased it clear down until I got to the fitting, managed to cut the fitting out, get it out of there, put new pecs through there, and work a Wurzbo 90 in there. But these are just super sharp, work super great. I've had these last me a year or more. Just when you're good to your tools, they're good to you. Yeah. So, I would say that sums up the bag. Thanks for watching. Why the Packout bag? I've seen the Packout bag for as low as I think 100 or maybe 120 on HomeDepot.com, and I mean I think that's a great deal. But I've also seen the job site bag get a whole lot cheaper. If you're trying to look for like what the key differences are to decide like which bag to buy, I would say the floor space is much bigger in the Packout bag, and the Packout bag is Packout. In general, I've thought the Packout bag is fantastic, but I had a Milwaukee Packout kit, and when you can snap your bag in to the top of your kit and it just stays on the side of your truck or fill in the blank, it works amazing. It's the best way to go. But if you don't have a Packout kit, if you don't have any Packout on your truck, having this sort of base doesn't necessarily help you. It's just as good as the job site. Other thing is, this is so small, what bothers me so much. There's this little, I don't even know if you can see it, there's this little bump right here for the Packout latch. And I hate putting things in my bag and not having them sit straight. So that bump sticks in there because it's Packout, kind of annoying. But in general, if you come up with a way to store all your tools around it, it works great. Yeah, so that's everything with my Milwaukee Packout backpack.